Have you ever wondered who replaced Davey Boy Smith when the British Bulldog split up? Most wrestling fans don't know his name, but he wrestled alongside the Dynamite Kid, won championships around the world, had a bizarre appearance in ECW, and became one of the most respected British wrestlers you've probably never heard of. Hello everyone, I'm Josh Faulkner, the wrestling comedian. Before we get into it, make sure you like the video and drop me a follow. This is the story of Johnny Smith. When people think of great British wrestlers, they think of Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks, William Regal, Dynamite Kid, and Davey Boy Smith. Johnny Smith rarely gets mentioned, but maybe he should, because if there was ever a wrestler who deserved far more recognition, it was him. Born John Robert Hindley in Warrington in 1965, Johnny grew up surrounded by wrestling. His uncle was Ted Betley, one of Britain's respected wrestlers and trainers, who taught Johnny the old British catch wrestling style before he was even old enough to drive. Johnny made his professional debut in 1982. He was only 16 years old. While most teenagers were worrying about school, Johnny was already wrestling seasoned professionals around Britain's holiday camps and town halls. Promoters immediately saw something different. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, he simply looked believable. Every punch, every suplex, every hold, everything looked real. That realism would become his trademark. Throughout the early 1980s, Johnny established himself on the British scene, capturing the British Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Championship and earning a reputation as one of the country's finest young technicians. But Britain wasn't enough for someone with his ability. Soon, opportunities came from overseas. Like so many great British wrestlers before him, Japan came calling. Then his career took an unexpected turn. In Stampede Wrestling, Johnny became involved in one of the promotion's hottest storylines. He was introduced as another member of the British Bulldog family. Not because he was actually related, he wasn't, but in wrestling, that hardly mattered. Soon, you had Davey Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, and Johnny Smith all appearing together. For a brief moment, there were effectively three Bulldogs. Then, everything exploded. Dynamite Kid turned against Davey Boy Smith. The legendary Bulldogs were finished. Instead of standing with Davey, Johnny sided with Dynamite. Together, they formed a new team, the British Bruisers. It's one of wrestling history's forgotten what-ifs. Replacing somebody as iconic as Davey Boy Smith is almost impossible. The British Bruisers weren't as famous as the Bulldogs, but inside the ring, they were outstanding. They competed in Stampede before taking the tag team to All Japan Pro Wrestling, where Giant Baba valued them highly. Then came another twist. Davey Boy returned to the WWF in the early 90s as the British Bulldog. Because WWF had established that name worldwide, Johnny and Dynamite couldn't continue using it in the same way. The British Bruisers became their permanent identity. Ironically, Johnny had become the man replacing Davey Boy without ever trying to become Davey Boy. While many British wrestlers dreamed of making it in America, Johnny quietly built one of the best careers in Japan. All Japan Pro Wrestling loved him. He fitted their hard-hitting style perfectly. He wrestled Mitsuharu Misawa, Kenta Kobashi, Steve Williams, Terry Gordy, Stan Hansen, Jumbo Tsusurata, and countless other legends. In 1991, Johnny and Dynamite won the All-Asia Tag Team Championships, giving Johnny one of the biggest accomplishments of his career. Then came one of the strangest moments, ECW. When people think of Extreme Championship Wrestling, they think of tables, barbed wire, Tommy Dreamer, Raven, Rob Van Dam. Not Johnny Smith. Yet in 1998 he turned up in ECW for a one-off appearance. It seemed completely random, but it showed just how respected he was that Paul Heyman wanted a technically gifted British veteran on his roster, even if only briefly. By the late 1990s, Johnny continued wrestling across Japan while returning home to Britain when opportunities arose. Unlike many stars of his generation, he never chased celebrity. He simply wrestled wherever the best wrestling was. Eventually, after more than 20 years in the business, Johnny retired in 2003. No huge farewell tour, no Hall of Fame speech, just a quiet exit from a remarkable career. Today, Johnny Smith is often overlooked because he was surrounded by larger-than-life names. Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith, Chris Benoit, William Regal, but ask wrestlers from that era, and many will tell you Johnny Smith was one of the smoothest, safest, most technically gifted wrestlers Britain ever produced. Sometimes, greatness isn't about becoming the biggest star. Sometimes, it's about earning the respect of everyone who ever stepped in the ring with you. And that's exactly what Johnny Smith did. But I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Johnny Smith? Do you think he deserves to be remembered alongside Britain's greatest wrestlers? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more wrestling stories, opinions, and laughs, you know what to do. And remember, I'll see you on the next one.